The first sensation of the day was always the gentle warmth. Not the biting, hungry cold that waited just beyond the felt walls of the gear, but the radiating heat from the old iron stove. Udian opened his eyes slowly, the steam from the small kettle on the stove already whispering into the air. Outside, the world was locked in a deep freeze, a relentless grip that squeezed the breath from the air itself. Inside, a quiet fight against it had begun hours ago, stoked by careful hands through the long, dark night. Every piece of dried dung, every scrap of collected wood, played its part in this daily dance with the extreme cold. The very survival of the small family depended on this steady, comforting heat. Udian stretched, feeling the ache of the early morning in his bones. He knew today would test the limits of their hearth, a new challenge against the biting winds. The small gur hummed with the steady warmth of the iron stove, a soft counterpoint to the deep quiet outside. Udian poured warm, milky tea into a small bowl, steam rising like a slow, white breath. Belorma moved quietly by the hearth, her hands deft as she added dry dung to the embers. The gentle hiss and crackle were the morning's first music. This daily ritual, simple and slow, was a careful gathering of strength. Irdin felt the warmth spread, chasing away sleep's last traces. He knew the sun would soon touch the frozen world, but its light would bring little heat. He stepped outside for a moment, pulling the heavy felt flap aside. The cold seized his breath, sharp and quick, a physical blow. The air hung still and clear, like a polished sheet of ice. The sun was just a pale, hesitant yellow on the eastern ridge, a distant promise against the endless blue. His breath froze instantly, hanging like a small cloud. He looked across the vast, snow-covered steppe, the endless white meeting the cold gray sky. It was a landscape of stark beauty, demanding respect. He had lived under its gaze his whole life, learning its languages. Today, the biting wind whispered of a new test. He thought of the two stoves, one, a newer, heavier iron piece, the other, an older, trusted friend. Udian pushed the heavy felt flap back into place, sealing out the biting wind. The warmth inside the gear felt like a gentle hug after the sharp chill outside. He moved towards the corner where the two stoves stood, waiting. The older stove, made of thinner, scarred iron, had been a constant companion through countless winters. Its surface was worn smooth, bearing the marks of many fires. He ran a hand over its cool metal, a familiar weight. Next to it stood the newer stove, heavier and more robust. Its dark metal gleamed with a dull sheen, promising powerful heat. He thought of the deep cold outside, the kind that froze your spit before it hit the snow. Boiling water, even a small kettle, would take time and precious fuel. He gathered two identical small kettles, their copper bottoms glinting. A small bucket of fresh, clean snow, gathered from a driftside, sat ready near the hearth. Udian moved with purpose, yet without haste. He placed one copper kettle on the older, thinner iron stove, settling it firmly on the grate. Its twin found its place atop the newer, heavier stove. Beside each, he laid a small pile of dried dung and a few carefully selected pieces of wood split thin for quick burning. This was not a race of speed, but a quiet study of efficiency, a question posed to the heart of the winter. The chill outside still pressed against the gear walls, a constant, unseen force. He knelt first by the old stove. With a small twig, he nudged a glowing ember from the deep ash pit, coaxing it to life. Tiny flakes of dry dung caught, then small pieces of wood. A faint whisper of smoke rose, a familiar scent of hearth and home. The first tiny flames flickered, then grew, licking at the base of the kettle. He listened to the soft crackle, a sound of comfort and purpose. The old stove began to hum, a low, steady song as it drew breath. Slowly, a gentle warmth spread from its sides, chasing away the immediate cold air. Then he turned to the newer stove. With its thicker walls, it would take longer to warm fully. He repeated the careful process. More embers, more dry dung, more wood. This fire, too, took hold a brighter, hungrier flame, but the thick iron seemed to swallow its heat at first. The air around the stove remained cooler for a longer moment. Udian watched, his gaze moving between the two kettles. The snow inside remained still, reflecting the firelight dimly from its surface. He knew the time taken was more than just minutes on a clock. Each crackle of burning dung was a moment of precious fuel, slowly turning into life-giving heat. Irdin watched the kettles, his breath slow and steady. The small, thin iron stove The older friend began to whisper. A faint tremor ran through the kettle on its surface. Then, a soft rumble, growing in strength. Small bubbles formed at the bottom of the snow water, clinging to the copper, then rising. The fire under it crackled with a joyful sound, quick and bright. A thin wisp of steam, almost invisible at first, rose from the kettle's spout, a silent declaration of victory against the deep cold. The water inside churned, a swirling, bubbling dance. Soon, the kettle began to sing, a steady, rhythmic hiss, the unmistakable sound of a full, rolling boil. Erdine felt a quiet satisfaction spread through him. The old stove had won the race. It had brought the life-giving heat to the water with a speed born of its thin, quick-to-warm iron. He looked over at the newer, heavier stove. Its fire still burned strong, a robust heart beating within thick walls. The water in its kettle was warmer now, showing a few lazy bubbles. But it had not yet reached the energetic boil of the older stove. The thicker iron held the heat, absorbing it, slowly radiating it out. But it took longer to transfer that fierce energy to the water itself. This was the difference. The older stove, light and nimble, gave its heat quickly. The newer one, strong and slow, held its heat longer, perhaps for a sustained warmth through the night, but at the cost of initial speed and, by extension, more precious fuel to reach the same boiling point. Every piece of dried dung, every sliver of wood, was a measured offering to the hearth. Erdine took the steaming kettle from the older stove, the copper warm against his thick mittens. He poured the water into a small wooden bucket for the morning tea. The steam rose, carrying the scent of warmth into the stilgur. The newer stove, though slower to boil, now radiated a deeper, more even heat, a silent promise of lasting comfort through the day. He understood the lesson. The thin iron, quick to flame, gave its heat swiftly, a sharp burst of life. The thick iron, slow to awaken, held its warmth close, a steady heart against the endless cold. Both had their place. He added more dried dung to the old stove, keeping its embers alive. Belorma came with dried meat, her steps quiet. The small sounds of their morning filled the air, the fire's crackle, the soft clink of ceramic, the whisper of steam. Each piece of fuel, gathered from the vast steppe, was a victory against the biting cold, an offering to the family's hearth. Knowing how each stove worked, understanding their natures, was deep wisdom. It meant fuel saved, warmth ensured. A silent conversation between man and iron forged in winter. Erdine watched the embers glow, soft orange in the dim light. The sun outside would rise higher, but its warmth was a distant dream.